What's up, guys? mcstu here, and today we're going to talk about the 10 forward stream that happened earlier today. We've been waiting for this for the last month or so. This was the stream that was announced on Reddit about a month and a half ago by the CEO of Cryptic Studios, and he had announced that he was going to be on 10 forward with Kale and a couple others. I'm going to break it into probably a couple different videos because there's kind of a lot to cover in a bunch of different areas. So we're just going to start with the roadmap and the content releases that they had announced today, as well as something that could end up being pretty special that they mentioned at the end. We'll talk about it when we get to it there. But overall, I thought that the live stream was good. I think that Phil did a good job. He came across as authentic, and really, you know, if you watch the live stream, you'll see at the end, Kale ended up kind of shutting him down because I think he would have went on answering questions for hours longer, which is encouraging. I'm hoping that they bring him back, or you know, I may reach out myself and see if I'm able to interview. I know a couple other people in the community are trying to do that as well, and I think that would be really good because he seems very open to you know, dialogue, and that's really what we need at this point. But I think for me anyways, he put some of my concerns to rest, at least in what it is that they want to do. You know, anything could change, things could happen, companies can go out of business, Embracer Group could go out of business, and that's kind of out of their control. And again, that's if you take them at their word, which I do. I don't have any reason to not believe that, especially when we put or look at all the hiring that's happening by DECA and these kinds of things. There's serious money being spent on, you know, keeping this game going and live. So we'll get into more of that in another video. Today we're going to talk about the content releases that were talked about, and we're going to just kind of watch some of this together, and I'll kind of comment on it, and at the end we'll just kind of go over some of the little nuggets that they had in there.
All right. Yeah, so just wanted to go over kind of what's going on in the immediate.
And so down at the bottom here, I believe his name is Jesse. He's the VP of Star Trek Online. This other guy, I think it's Brett. Hopefully I'm not messing that up. He is the VP for Neverwinter and Champions. And then we have Phil over here. He's the CEO of Cryptic. And then obviously this is Mike, or Ambassador Kale. Just so if you're unaware, let's go ahead and hear what Jesse has to say.
Future over the next few months. You know, normally we try to keep all this like close to our chest, but I think, you know, I'm not going to spoil a lot. There's a couple key things here that are fun. So, you know, March is almost over, but we still have a couple things going out. We have a new Mud Bundle that's going out next week that has two very popular ships in there that I think our players will like who buy the Mud Bundles. And then we've also got our anniversary bundle that's going out for consoles since they had their anniversary launch this month. So.
Now, I'm going to say right off the bat, obviously, we're looking at this. This looks pretty darn light. But that is about how light it was last year, and really the last couple years. Since Victory is Life has came out, they've really kind of reduced the amount of content that's been released. So obviously they have March up here, which, you know, for us on PC, March is almost over. So the only real new thing here is that there's a Muds bundle. Let's also remember, too, that when they say content, they mean ships, episodes, basically anything new to the game. And, you know, as you're going to see here, ships is a big part of that, bundling things together. I am interested to see what they package with this new Muds bundle. I know there's some ships that people are praying will be in there. The, you know, Terran warship, the refit, what is it, Discovery refit. There's our Crossfield refit. There's quite a few. I know for me personally, I'm not really in the market for any kind of Muds bundles at this point. I basically play on my main tune, and all my others are supports or have a very limited role. So I'm not in a position where I'm going to go and spend, you know, $150, whatever it is, on a 3-ship pack to unlock them cross account. If it was 4 years ago, I might do that, but most of what I want, at least on my main, I already have. So I'm not saying don't buy it, because I think relatively speaking, it's a good deal, especially when they're including promo ships and lockbox ships that you can have an account unlock. It's much, much cheaper. I mean, the whole bundle is cheaper than getting one lockbox ship for one character on average if you're opening boxes. So relatively speaking, this is a much cheaper way to going about doing it. And again, I'm not saying it's inexpensive. It's not, you know, $150 is a lot of money. But relatively speaking to any other way that you can get these ships, the Muds bundles are definitely the best bang for buck.
Those are two really great things that are be going out next week. Now April. Now, as most of our players know, April is when we do First Contact Day, so that will be the same this year as it has been in the past, with a brand new reward. And also the ship. We are going to be putting out a new ship in the Infinity Lockbox, and it's a ship from Star Trek Beyond. And then also console will be getting the T6 Orion Devar, that is already out on.
Yeah, so the Devar just came out on PC. First Contact Day, that's always kind of fun. Depending on what you get from it, it's quick, easy. It's kind of a mini, winter event kind of a thing. If you haven't done it before, definitely want to do that. It's super easy, and you get some sort of reward that's going to be account unlocked. As for the ship from Star Trek Beyond, I'm not real familiar with Star Trek Beyond. I did Google it prior. There's a bunch of different ships that are shown. I know if you look on Reddit, there's some guesses based on what that'll be. We'll just wait and see, what they're going to put in. As far as I'm concerned, there's no hero ship in that, at least that I'm familiar with. For me, hero ships are somewhat personal, right? I mean, if you never watched Deep Space Nine ever, then the Defiant, isn't really considered that in your mind, I guess you could say. So we'll see. I know a lot of this stuff has already been created, by Thomas and these other guys. So I don't think we're going to be seeing any kind of major design changes or the way that they do this kind of stuff until we get further along, DECA fully taking over. Phil does talk at length about that, and we will be having a separate video that kind of covers that because there's some pretty interesting stuff and, good information there. But, I think this will be similar in terms of build-wise to, the things that we've seen over the last few years. The real question is, what's it going to look like? Which ship is it going to be? Console, obviously, all of these blocks look a little bit bigger only because it's, console stuff, which is what was in the block before for PC. So if they didn't do it like that and they just said later, next month on console, all these blocks would look a lot smaller. Let's go ahead and take a look at May. There's some new stuff in here.
PC. So May
it's
is
the ship you want from Beyond. That's all I'll say.
Yes.
I don't know any ships from Beyond.
Yes. So May's really exciting. I'm excited about this. Is we have a new Iconian event that's part of our campaign, our mostly year-long campaign. We haven't done an Iconian one, and there'll be a themed reward around that. And there's going to be a new ship bundle, and so this will be one of the things that I mentioned. So, and I love these older ships, and we haven't had T6 versions of them, so we're going to be doing a Dyson ship T6 bundle.
That's interesting. The Dyson ships are pretty cool. They only make them in tier 5 right now, so it sounds like they're going to be doing tier 6 versions of them. We'll see how those end up turning out. I did purchase one way back when I first started. I just thought they looked really cool. I didn't end up flying it much after because it was tier 5. I just didn't know any better. As for the Iconian event, it's unclear. So there's a new reward you get with it, but it's unclear. Does that mean like a new TFO or a new piece of content that we'll be playing? My guess is this is going to be a quote unquote event, but the event being Iconian will be you'll have a choice between some Iconian TFOs that we currently have in the game. I'm assuming they would have said, new Iconian TFO or something new like that. So in terms of the content, it's not really new content. It's just a new packaging of, what we already have that's tied into an event that you're going to get a unique reward for. New ship bundle, that's going to be C-Store. I want to see more C-Store ships, but, with the last 2 years, the way it's been a lot less feeling. I think last year we got maybe 2 or 3 standalone, and I think we got 1 or 2 bundles. So it wasn't a lot. And most of these bundles, some of them are tied together. Well, I guess if it's legendary, you would have to buy it, and if it's like one of the two ship ones, you'd have to buy all of it. So hopefully we can purchase these individually, if they're good and we want to buy them. That's my main hope. I just don't like when I see bundle because I don't want to be forced into buying a whole bundle, or I shouldn't say force because I won't buy it if there's just one ship in there I want and you have to buy all 3. So hopefully these will also be sold individually, but they'll be released as a bundle, basically a set of ships. And the ones that they did last year, you could buy individually. So I think we'll be okay there. We have the new season, and I'll let them continue here in a moment. We're going to talk some more about that here in just a moment.
I'm really happy about it. I hope you are. It's been a long time since we made a new Dyson ship. So that'll be going out with the new Iconian event. And then we also have the new season. So we have it in for end of the month, like the very end of the month. I mean, that could change by a week or two, but that's the goal right now. I'll have a little bit more information in the next slide about what's going on in the season. And then in June, because the season it comes out at the end of May, June is really mostly where the anniversary event and season will happen. But there'll also be another new Mud Bundle that's going out in June.
I'm not sure what he means in terms of anniversary event ending, because it starts. When does it start on console? Console starts, their anniversary event starts next week. So that's going to run for a month. So I'm not sure what he means in terms of end of May going into June. I think maybe he misspoke. Maybe he's thinking about the winter event. That didn't really make a lot of sense to me there.
Some, probably some exciting ships in there. And then the console will get the new season in June. So yeah, that's kind of the overview of what's going on. And then, after that, I didn't make a slide for it, but, usually if you're a player of Star Trek, our summer event comes out after that, and that is the plan. So
also, I'd just like to point out that he has been calling it Star Trek, so I don't want to hear anything else in the comments about how I say it.
Yeah, so those are kind of the next like 4-ish months or so of what we plan, and plenty of stuff, just as much as we normally have in the past. Move on to the next slide.
All right.
All right, so
let me just stop. The graphic for this looks pretty darn cool. House Reborn is what they have it labeled as. He said that isn't finalized yet. So we'll see what they end up calling it. They don't give us a whole lot on it here, but he's going to go through the slide, and then at the end of this, he makes a statement about a new feature that they haven't done before, and I'm pretty interested to see what that's going to be. I can't remember if he tells us when he's going to do that. It's probably May, I guess, since that's what's on this slide. But anyways, I don't want to jump ahead. Let's hear about the next season.
Season 32. So we've done quite a bit of these over the years. I don't know
season
if we ever
32
really put the numbers out, but I thought I'd throw it out there. This is what we call it internally, because that's how many we've done.
We stopped
we don't have a name for it yet.
A little while ago, just because everybody was like, "If it's a season, why is there only one episode?" But
I know, I know.
That's why we stopped.
I don't have.
No, it's fine.
I don't have a name.
It's good. I know.
That's fine.
It's fine.
I know. But I thought it would be nice to see, hey, we've done 32 of these. Anyway,
yeah, it's neat.
But we don't have a name for it yet. I think it's coming up soon. It isn't House Reborn. I just like the picture, and probably remove the icon from it next time I use it. But yeah, so as I mentioned, PC, it's the tentative release date is May for PC and June for console. We're going to continue the story of the Kings and Queens storyline we started a couple.
Yeah, and just to say, is this an old graphic, guys? I don't recognize it. But was this already used, or is this the new graphic? Let me know. Let me know down in the comments.
Updates back. There'll be a new episode and a new task force operation. I don't want to spoil any of the story, but I will say the task force operation is another TFO where it's like an endless battle, sort of like the arena. So we hadn't done one of those in a long time, so we thought there was an opportunity to do that in the content that we're making. So that should be a fun new TFO. To do. We have a new ship added to the Infinity Lockbox. I'm not going to spoil that. And then also our typical season event and good reward for that. And then a new feature that we haven't done before. I also am not going to spoil that because we have to make sure it works first.
All right, so we're going to get back to the new feature here in a moment. But so it looks like May is when we're going to get all this new stuff. Now, again, this does look pretty light, even compared to years past. I know. I'm trying to think, last year, beginning of last year, and the year before that's like 2022, we would generally get a TFO or two, an episode or two, and in some cases we would get a patrol or two. So this is definitely looking quite a bit lighter. It's on par with what we saw the last 2 quarters of 2023. So, that cadence is kind of staying the same, at least for now. I hope that, going forward, and again, we'll cover more of this in the next video here where we talk about, the transition, the future, and everything that Phil goes over there. But I think what we're going to see here based on what he said, really my thinking is over the next probably year or through the end of this year is pretty light like this. And once DECA is fully ramped up and they're off and trucking, we might see it return to, 2022 levels where we have the same kind of cadence, but maybe we have 1 or 2 episodes, maybe we have 1 or 2, preferably TFOs, and same with patrols. It's not a huge, distinction, but 1, 2 is twice as much, but it's 2's still not a lot compared to, when we used to get full, story arcs and things like that. And to be fair, story arcs only came once a year, every 2 years as well, right? So overall, I think if we add it all up, it's probably pretty similar to really the kind of content that the game has got on average, from year to year, as it always has. But we are seeing a little bit of a dip in that, I think, at this point. Now, he just mentioned a new feature, and they give a little bit more of a teaser on that, and I want to kind of talk about that here. So let's hear what he says.
But we're hope to have it out. That's our goal. And then, of course, our celebrity is a returning Star Trek alumni, which I think has been spoiled.
Yeah, I think they
by
literally spoiled it themselves. Yep.
But I'm not going to contribute to it because it's still a
CasualSAB talked about this, and I can't remember who it was, but they were on a podcast, and they were actually talking about doing some voiceover for a crossover between World of Warships and TNG Star Trek. And in that same interview or podcast, they had mentioned that they were doing work for Star Trek Online currently. So again, I can't remember who it was. The voice acting's not a big deal for me, guys. I enjoy the stories and stuff, but for me, I'd rather see that money go into, I don't know, servers or whatever else. It's fine. It just doesn't make or break it for me. So I don't really care, to be honest.
Secret.
Yep. Keep it secret. Keep it
So,
safe.
Yes. So, so that's what we're doing for the season. So we're all excited. We're all working on that. We've made great progress on it. We're actually good ahead on it. So I'm very hopeful that we'll get it out when we have a plan to go out.
Mark or Chief wants to know if you can give a teaser on the new feature. I'm going to change that to, can you say one word about the new feature?
One word?
If you can't without spoiling it, then don't worry about it. But if you got one word.
Token.
Okay, great.
Token. Okay, so we're going to get some kind of new token. So we have Elite Captain's tokens, Elite Bridge Officer tokens. I think it's way too early to go, another token for upgrading your ship, since the X2 was just released, and we're at 2 tokens for that, the upgrade tokens anyways. So what else could it be, guys? My guess is, maybe a way to make ships unlockable. It is something they have to test, make sure it works, is what he was alluding to. I'm hoping it'll make ships unlockable that, are lockbox ships that you currently have. I don't know, though. The more I kind of think it through, I mean, if they did that, let's say they did that, right? I would probably never buy a MUDs bundle again. I mean, let's say I was in the market for a MUDs bundle, or let's say the game went, on and on for another 5 or 10 years. There's going to be a bunch of new ships that come out that, maybe I would want on account unlock, and I might buy a MUDs bundle but for players that have been around for a while, why, for me, I would buy that token and unlock a bunch of ships that I already have, and I wouldn't be buying any MUDs bundles anytime soon, which, like I said before, I'm already not really in that kind of market, but that gives me a whole another reason not to buy a MUDs bundle if I could unlock it. So I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate. I mean, that was kind of the first thing that came to mind. There's been some, not leaks, but people that have left the company that in their portfolios were showing a new UI for opening lockboxes and things like that. I don't see how a token would really go with that as, as a guess. So I don't know, guys. I mean, what else could there be? I mean, you have elite, they're not elite tokens, but they're tokens that like level up, a Romulan character, or I think there's a KDF one as well that came in some of the what are they? They're not elite packs, but the legendary packs. So I'm kind of at a loss. I mean, really the only thing that comes to mind is unlocking, ships, but I mean, unless they're outrageously expensive, I don't really have another good guess other than account unlocking ships. So I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think. I'm always interested. I mean, even if it's something that's paid, if it adds some more flexibility to the game, because the way that it is currently with lockboxes and, or having to buy a MUDs bundle, it's just outrageously expensive for some of those top tier ships. So if they put something in that really kind of addresses that, that'll make me super happy. So that covers it. Again, stay tuned. I will be doing probably about 2 more videos on this because they covered a ton. And if we covered all of it in one, it would be extremely long. And you know how I like to really kind of dig into things and pontificate and talk about, and because there's a lot here. And for people that are, vested in the game like I am, this is a time where, having more info and really kind of thinking this stuff through makes sense, especially for someone that spends money on the game. They did assure everybody, the plan is to push forward. And, if you don't want to spend money, then don't and wait. But, if you do, your money's going to be safe. Again, we'll have to see, but we'll talk about this more in an upcoming video. Let me know what you guys think. Are these content releases just way too lackluster? Do you feel like they differ a lot, really, than the last 2 years? I mean, in my opinion, they're pretty close to the same, really, of what we've been getting. The other part of this, too, is they only stretched out, through basically into the third quarter, just because he mentioned the summer event. So it's not like we got a roadmap that goes, to the end of the year. So I just hope they continue doing these kinds of live streams. Kale called it, what the hell did he call the live stream? I don't know. It's some play on words, but it was specific for having this group of individuals, and he did make mention to this happening, more often. And I think that would be really good. Again, we'll cover this in a later video, but Phil, I thought he did really, really well. I enjoyed watching him. He comes across as authentic. And again, I don't have any reason not to take, these guys at their word. And it's not like they're promising the moon, right? And I'm just believing it. I mean, we all have a let's just wait and see. But so I'll leave it there, guys. Again, let me know what you think about the content release. What do you think this new token's going to be? What's it going to unlock? What's it going to do? Again, I only kind of have one guess, and I'm really kind of playing devil's advocate with it. So anyways, all right, guys, I appreciate you watching. Until next time, have a good one. Hey guys, appreciate you watching. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, ring the bell, and sub to the channel for the latest news updates and how-to guides.